Okay, this is my third video on viral hijacking, specifically for the nimbus and stratus variants that are prevalent here in the summer of 2025, which is when I'm doing this video. And what I wanted to work on today was the moodiness that these viral variants can cause. So, and I'm really feeling it right now. I shared yesterday about needing to clear for histamine, bioflavonoids, and antioxidants, specifically in takeover spots like the cough spot or in little inflammation spots in the sinuses, teeth, ears, eyes, nose. And I've been doing that. And I've also been working myself on the hormonal stuff that I'll share with you today. And I was feeling good, went out, did some work, work in the yard, kind of, tired myself out, came back in, and then bam, just no energy whatsoever, and my mood diving. And I went, okay, I know what this is. Muscle testing. I test week for something called somatostatin. Somatostatin. And that's something that I've seen regularly hijacked in both myself and my clients this summer. If you're interested, you can, just do a Google search. AI will bring up a description of what it is, or you can go on Wikipedia and get some information. It's a peptide hormone that works with a growth hormone, and it's what other things? It works with the thyroid stimulating hormone, insulin, and glucagon, which has to do with your blood sugar levels. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, like I have no energy, my cells, I just ate, but my cells are not getting the energy that they need. And, and the repair, the growth hormone dance that your body does, when you exercise, and then that causes stress in muscles, and then that causes the body to build stronger muscles based on your exercise. That's part of the dance that the body does with somatostatin. And there are other things that I have cleared for myself that are not troubling you, but maybe troubling you. Things like oxytocin and something called Thymulin and Phenylalanine. So a number of different things that actually deal with mood in the body. But let's start with somatostatin, since that's where I'm at, and maybe you are too. And in the last video, I talked a little bit about the Reiki tree and how to do that. I will be offering a much longer video on how to do that in more detail. But for now, I just want you to see yourself as tree. And by that, I mean, envision yourself as a tree, right? And your body sort of responds like, oh, I better be taller then, right? Lifting your heart chakra up. And, oh, I need to be rooted then. Dropping your belly, stop holding in your tummy, just drop that energy down, right? So you're lifted and rooted or grounded, right? If you do yoga, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, that stance, right? And that just allows your energy to move more properly through the body. And if you're going to invite your body to fix something, you want flow to be happening, or you might just fix one spot, but not the whole. So you need to be connected to the whole. So that's why I say be tree, right? Take deep breaths. You want to be in a calm state if you can. I know that these hormones can really make you kind of crazy, very, you can make you very manic, even euphoric, and then it can drop you down into a depressed state. So wherever you're at in that spectrum there, do the best you can to ground yourself, lift yourself, and calm. Okay, and then the hands are here on the heart chakra, and I want you to think like that you're, it's like you're, like you're holding your inner child here and pat, 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 I got you, right? And on top of that, we're going to think of some happy thoughts. I gave really simple ones like puppies, right? Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe it's beer with the guys after work, whatever it is. I want you to think some happy thoughts. You choose 3. And they don't have to be great or perfect. They just have to make you go, oh yeah, that's good, right? So just think your 3 happy thoughts. And it's like you're going to hold, it's like you feel the warmth here in your heart, but you're also holding it there like, ah. And you can imagine having happy feelings in your hands and sending through. Okay, so that's basic Reiki there. And if you're struggling to do that, it's okay. The way you get good at it is by doing it, frankly. And also I'm going to, as a good Reiki master, I'm going to create the Reiki bridge, to each of y'all as you watch this, right? And so I'll be helping you move the energy properly so you don't have to, right? So different people have, all of us have some twists or warps in the energy body, missing pieces that we then compensated in a certain way, So illness often is a reflective of that. So unless you are a Reiki master, it's hard to have a really good flow in your body. And that's why it is good to contact a professional, because they can do the flow for you and encourage your body to kind of almost do like a factory reset back to the recommended settings so that you can get a flow. So I'm doing that for you if you allow it. Reiki is not a pushy energy. You have to say, yeah, please help me with that, or I don't want you to mess with me. Either way, it won't happen unless you're saying, yeah, I would consider that. And and maybe you don't want to now. Maybe it takes a while for you to, trust someone. So watch a few of my videos and see if you think I have something to offer. So creating the Reiki bridge, connecting up. And now let's work with that somatostatin. So I'm still testing weak for it, right? And so if you're a muscle tester, you might test yourself. Or if you're a pendulum dazzler, you can say, show me my relationship to somatostatin. And if it tests weak, you're out of right relationship with it, meaning the body's not using it properly. Okay? So then you go to your being tree, thinking your happy thoughts, getting all jiggy with it, and then tell yourself, I want to be in right relationship with somatostatin. So you're basically instructing your automatic body systems, right? All the unconscious things that, keep your breathing and keep your heart pumping and work with somatostatin. You're telling them with your conscious mind, you're telling your unconscious self parts to be in right relationship with somatostatin. And often there's a breath that happens as you make the shift, or you can force the breath, be in right relationship with somatostatin, take the sigh, okay. And then breathing normally, you can muscle test again, show me my relationship towards somatostatin, and it's there. And maybe it's my imagination, but I feel like my body does have a tiny bit more energy than I did a minute ago. Like, oh, all right, that's better. Okay, so let's go on. What other hormones and things that the body needs are out of right relationship with that can mess with moods? Let's check on that. So I've got some lists here. I'm going to be looking down at my notes, and another one is Thymulin, which is in the brain. And see, I looked that up earlier. Just Google AI. Thymulin is a peptide hormone primarily produced to work with T cell, which are white blood cells that are the most helpful against COVID, because the immunoglobulins don't track it well. That's why we had to do that vaccine that was based on this weird spike that it had, because we couldn't get a handle on something different about it that we could say, target this to the immune system, because it's very sneaky. And so your best defenders really against the COVID variants are your T cells. And this Thymulin, if it's hijacked, you're not working well with the T cells. They're not, because it's part of that process of helping the T cells to mature and be able to distinguish who's an invader and who's not. So, so let's definitely bring us into right relationship with Thymulin. So, like I said, I think I'm in right relationship with it right now. You may not be. I wasn't, at other times this summer when I had the variant, that's how I even know that it's a thing, right? So again, let's go back to being tree. You're rooted, you're lifted, calm breathing, big breaths. Okay. Thinking your happy thoughts. And notice you can just use the same ones. You just cycle, go through it. Puppies, chocolate, walk on the beach, right? They never get old for me. So you do yours. Beer with the guys. The smile of a beautiful woman. Whatever it is, do your thing and warm up your heart. Okay, there you go. And tell yourself, okay, hey body, let's be in right relationship with Thymulin. Okay. Big breath in, release. Thymulin is, you might say it like this, Thymulin is my friend. Anybody and that says otherwise is not my friend. And in fact, and you can tell your T cells, that's how you might know there's a virus there if they're telling you that Thymulin and somatostatin are not your friends. So track that. Where did that come from? Check that cell for a virus, right? Because Thymulin is my friend, somatostatin is my friend. Big breath. And sometimes it helps to hold that in like, I often use the phrase in all possible variations and configurations in the body, right? So you may not totally be blocked to Thymulin, but just in a certain circumstance when it bonds with something else. So if you say that phrase, I'm coming into right relationship with Thymulin and somatostatin in all possible variations and configurations in my body, then that's very clear communication. Big breath. And release. Okay. All right. So what else? Phenylalanine. That's an amino acid that's, I think I looked it up earlier. I think of it as a precursor to a lot of happy hormones. And yeah, if you go to like Wikipedia on phenylalanine, it says it's a precursor to tyrosine, which it works with dopamine and adrenaline and noradrenaline. It also works with the pigment melanin, and lots of people report getting these like little, almost like liver spots on their body when they've had COVID. And I think that's due to this phase. If you're out of right relationship with phenylalanine, you get those spots. That's one of the signs of that. And then also phenylalanine tends to, like when I'm out of right relationship with it, there's sort of a euphoria stage that I have with it. Like it's not getting to certain parts of the body that it needs to, but whatever the trigger happy points are, it's got a lot of phenylalanine. And then as that gets used up, then there's a crash because it's actually not, it's being diverted in a certain way. And it's not sustainable happiness is what I'm trying to say. So, I have had multiple times where I had COVID when I had this big euphoria and a lot of energy, and I'd been getting sick and I thought, oh, I must have kicked that. And then I go and work in the garden until I'm exhausted. And then I come in and then I crash and then I'm sick as a dog the next day. So, so be aware of that. If you're suspiciously happy, you might be like, I had a sore throat yesterday. I'm suspiciously happy today. Okay, maybe I'm gonna be cautious here, not expend my energy too much. Make sure I, muscle test yourself for phenylalanine for one, and then you can be like, oh shoot, this happy mood is hijacking, or it's a setup. So don't take it, then fix that. So wherever you are, you might be, happy, or you might be crashing. Usually you don't look for a video on this stuff until you're crashing, but you'll know for next time, like, oh yeah, I did have that euphoria. So be tree, think your happy thoughts, and tell yourself to come into right relationship with phenylalanine. Phenylalanine. Big breath, release. And then if you're a muscle tester, check yourself. Show me my relationship towards phenylalanine. It should test strong. Okay, so we've done Thymulin, somatostatin, phenylalanine. And again, you can just hold in your consciousness or say the phrase, that I'm in right relationship with all of these things and all possible variations and configurations. Okay, because they kind of do work together. And let's see, what else? Let's look at this idea that it's not always just the configurations, but where in the body it might be. So you may test strong for phenylalanine in the body in general, but now I'm going to focus on my colon. And I go weak. I usually bring my hands down to the body part, like wherever I'm testing, I bring my hands near it. But you can also just focus on that. And since I want to show you, I'm just going to focus. I'm phenylalanine, whole body. And then I just kind of focus down to my colon, specifically the descending colon, the left side of the lower abdomen, and it goes weak. So I've got hijacking in the left side of my colon, the descending colon, right? So that I'm not getting phenylalanine properly there. Yeah. So you can say, bring me into right relationship in all possible variations and configurations and in all parts of the body. And if you know the part, in this case, the colon, you can say especially in the colon. Big breath. Okay, and now I'm going to focus on phenylalanine in my colon, and I test strong for that. Yeah, cool. Sometimes as I'm working different parts of my body, I'll just kind of light up. It's hard to describe, but it's an empath trick where it's just like, oh, this part's talking to me. So just as I was working with phenylalanine, my heart kind of did a little thing, and I went, let me double check. I'll just double check phenylalanine and the heart, and actually it's even more narrower of a focus in that it's phenylalanine and the pacemaker of the heart. And I have had that hijacked many times with these COVID variants. It's given me, my heart, a flutter that was really disturbing to me when it first happened. And so characteristically, these new COVID variants are going after the pacemaker of the heart. Okay, phenylalanine in that pacemaker part. So again, I'm bringing myself into right relationship with phenylalanine in all possible variations and configurations in all parts of my body, especially in the colon and the pacemaker of the heart. Big breath and release. And then let's sit with that and see if anything shows up that needs more attention. No. Yeah, so that feels good. Okay. Yeah. A couple other things I would do with you around the mood, and then we'll end this video, trying to keep them short here, is phosphorus. So phosphorus is really important. Phosphorus combines with tyrosine, which is, a precursor to a lot of these happy hormones too. So let's bring ourselves in right relationship with phosphorus in all possible variations and configurations and in all parts of the body. Right. And ask your body to do tyrosine phosphorylation, the combining of tyrosine and phosphorus, so that it can do its job. Big breath. Okay. Thank your body for listening to you. Thank you for doing this work, because it means that you're less likely to cough on me, and I really appreciate that. And keep in mind that these moods that happen, right, that it's the virus. It's not your partner. It's not your boss. It's the virus. So remember to persist, right, in fighting the virus, not people. All right, I'll see you next time.